Hi everyone, and welcome to the Hawaii Language Roadmap Student Resource Interviews. We hope you will find these interview series helpful in learning about how to use your language skills in the community and in the workforce. Before I introduce our special guests, I would like to take a moment to congratulate everyone listening on receiving your seal of biliteracy. This is a significant accomplishment and we applaud you for your investment and commitment in your language skills. Now I would like to introduce our special guest. Here with me today we have Dr. William H. Wilson, who teaches at the Hawaiian College at UH Hilo in its pre-K to 12 laboratory school. He and his family have played a key role in the development of Hawaiian language medium education over the past 40 years, from the Pūnana Leo preschools throughout to the doctorate. So now, Dr. Wilson, thank you so much again. We're going to get started. For the first question I have, I would just love to hear a little bit about your professional journey and what you've learned working in the multilingual field.
Well, first of all, aloha everyone. It's really an honor to be invited to share my thoughts with the students who are receiving the seal of biliteracy. I myself was born in Hawaii, and as a child I had an opportunity to live overseas in Europe and then also in the continental United States. Had some opportunities to live for a short time in Mexico and then come back to Hawaii when I was in high school. So one thing I learned in my journey as a young person was how important Hawaii is, and languages is a part of our heritage here in Hawaii. And since then I've been really interested in languages and studied linguistics as a way to improve my knowledge of the Hawaiian language, which I thought was really important to learn as a young person. And I've become, by chance, a person working professionally in Hawaiian language when I was going to be a biologist and work with the sugar plantations. So you can see how old I am now. That was considered a solid career. If you could find some kind of way to work with sugar, you were going to have a guaranteed job. So anyway, that's how I got involved in this. I missed Hawaii. I wanted to learn Hawaiian, and I also had experience with other languages in my youth.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, and we're excited to hear more about your perspective and how it can help the students. So our next question that we're curious a little bit about are what opportunities are available for students who are bilingual and biliterate in Hawaiian and English?
Well, I think everyone knows that Hawaii is really unique in the United States in so many ways. And one of the things that we have is two official languages, Hawaiian and English. And more opportunities are opening up in the government sector for people who know both of the official languages. The community is pushing for use of Hawaiian, and in the recent census, community service done by the federal government, it was found that Hawaiian is actually the most commonly reported language for children aged 5 to 17 in the home. So that was quite surprising to us. We know that Hawaiian's been growing, but the identification with Hawaiian has really exploded in past years, and people want to use it. So first of all, within the state, the government is very open to hiring more and more people who speak both languages. And then also in the private sector, especially in areas that deal with branding of Hawaii. Hawaiian language is part of our unique brand. So people that deal with the outside world that want to show the connection to Hawaii are very interested in people who know the Hawaiian language and Hawaiian culture. So we all think about tourism, but there are other things too, like fashion industry, agriculture products that are unique to Hawaii, even athletics and entertainers. It's really important for them to know the Hawaiian language and things about Hawaii.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you kind of talking about how like tourism is kind of the first point of contact where we think of when we think of how to use our language in the workforce, but recognizing that there's a myriad of possibilities and career options. So thank you. For the next question, you mentioned that you work at UH Hilo. I was curious for the undergraduate program in the College of Hawaiian Language. How does that program prepare students for using their language skills in the job market and maybe support the well-being of Hawaiian speaking residents in the state?
Well, again, our college is quite unique. It's the only entity within the state government that is operated and administered totally through Hawaiian. So all of our meetings, our secretaries, all the work here is done through Hawaiian. So it's the closest to what you have for foreign languages where you'd have study abroad. So if you come here, Hawaiian is the actual operational language here. We have children running through the hallways who are speaking Hawaiian from the faculty, and it's really a strong Hawaiian language environment. On top of that, we have a really high number of credits. So some of you who study languages may be aware that the U.S. Foreign Service has determined levels of numbers of hours that you need to reach a certain level of proficiency. And Hawaiian is what you consider a Category 3 language. It's harder than European languages because it's different from English. It's also an endangered language, so it takes a lot of hours. They recommend the equivalent of 90 credits, college credits in language, and we are almost in that area in terms of credits, but then we also use Hawaiian as our operational language, our student interaction. So students have a high level of interaction with Hawaiian here in our college, which is truly unique in the state of Hawaii and the United States as a whole. And then in order to graduate, you have to pass a proficiency exam. So this may scare some people because most BA programs you fulfill, you get the grades and you graduate. But with us, you have to pass a proficiency exam. Our bare minimum is actual intermediate high, but we aim to have everyone pass at advanced low. But then we have a translation aspect, we have a transcription aspect, we have also an essay. So students have to really show that they speak Hawaiian well for our college. We're very strict on that.
Yeah, it seems very comprehensive.
Yes. Another interesting thing that we have is that we have a different stream for students who are entering already as Hawaiian speakers, because Hawaiian language revitalization has been going on now for about 40 years. So now we have students entering who actually speak Hawaiian at home, receive their preschool through high school graduation education all through Hawaiian. So we have a special stream for them at the beginning because they're proficient in use of Hawaiian, but they're not as knowledgeable about the analysis of Hawaiian. Similar like an English major, you take English courses even though you speak English. So it's really important for us to have a special stream for those students. And then we bring the students together at the higher level where both the students who began without native speaker ability in Hawaiian and those who grew up speaking Hawaiian both have the analytical ability in the language. So that's one of our strengths. One of the things I like to share is that our college is not focused only on Hawaiian, although we're conducted through Hawaiian. At our laboratory school, we require all students to study Japanese and also Chinese as heritage languages. As I think all the viewers know that we in Hawaii are all of mixed ancestry, and our neighborhoods are mixed, everybody's mixed. So part of Hawaiian culture is to honor ancestors, and so we teach Japanese, Chinese. We've also taught Latin for Portuguese, Puerto Rican Spanish. English connects to Latin. So we seek to develop multilingual students, not just bilingual students.
I love that. That's a great mission, and I think that's a really powerful way to frame a student's learning experience. So thank you for sharing. Out of curiosity, do you have advice that you'd offer to help students leverage their language skills in the job market?
Well, first of all, you have to tell people that you do know more than one language. I think the tendency is not to mention that. Even if you just speak a non-English language at home that you think people don't think is important, you'd be surprised the value of just knowing another language. It gives you a different perspective, an understanding of people, how people can deal with different cultures and different perspectives in the world. So the first thing is to let the employer know that you know more than one language. Maybe the second thing to do is to explain why it's important, because some of the employers may not understand that. So what I would do is kind of prepare myself to do a little research into that area if you haven't learned about it before. How important it really is to be able to speak more than one language.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I love that you kind of point out the obvious of like, you need to communicate that you have the skills, because sometimes we don't share it for a variety of different reasons, and it is a tool and it is something to highlight in your job market search. So yeah, do you have any particular examples of maybe recent alumni or students who've gone through your program that you've seen or you've heard from them of how their language skills has benefited them?
Sure, there's a lot of examples. I'd like to start first of all with our students who are in our laboratory school, our preschool to high school program, because when we began that program, people thought that they would not be able to even graduate from high school, not go to college. And that's because of this perception that people that speak a language other than English are not going to succeed in the world. So the first thing is, if you speak more than one language, especially at home or in education, that's a detriment, but it's not true. The first question is, can they speak English? Well, one of our students, he went through grade 9, then he moved to only went to preschool all the way to grade 9, totally educated in Hawaiian. Today, he's a professor at Oxford in England, and they speak English in Oxford. We have other people who have had PhDs who are medical doctors or working in other fields, lawyers. So you can speak Hawaiian, go to school in Hawaiian and do that. Then we also have students who've gotten involved in other languages, especially for some reason, the P score is attractive to some of our students. So because they already speak 2 languages, they're able to learn a 3rd language very quickly. So that's one example. Then we have people who have gone into the media, have become administrators in the university system and in the Department of Education. We have people who are working in Hawaii Public Radio. There's so many opportunities, and people are looking for more and more people who speak both Hawaiian and English. But again, I want to emphasize that I believe in multilingualism. I think that we in Hawaii can produce students who speak 3 languages, Hawaiian, English, and a 3rd language quite easily if we really put our minds to it. There's so many small places in the world like Malta, Finland, Iceland, where it's really normal for people to speak 3 languages.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that it's changing the paradigm of like, this is the minimum, right? This is something we can do to broaden our connections, to broaden the doorways of being able to communicate with different communities and different worlds at the core. So I think that's a powerful notion. And I think those examples are great. The last question I have here is, why do you think having a multilingual workforce is important for Hawaii specifically?
Well, I want to first begin with just identity. The identity of Hawaii is of many people all living together in harmony, many languages, and our history here in Hawaii. I remember when I was younger and first learning Hawaiian, so many of the Hawaiian speakers could speak other languages besides English and Hawaiian. And this was not just of people who are native Hawaiians. I met people who are Japanese and Chinese and Haole who could all speak Hawaiian plus their ancestral languages. So this is part of our heritage in Hawaii, and I think we need to maintain that. It's what makes us unique. Then you get to the side of it's a valuable resource for us in terms of business and working with other people. But again, this relates to our ability here in Hawaii to understand others and work well with other people. It comes from that heritage of working together, understanding different languages and cultures. And if we can't maintain that and lose that, then we lose our special edge that we already have in terms of understanding the world. But then there's a typical reason is, boy, if I can speak Chinese, I can do business in China. So that's something I think other parts of the United States can talk about, and we can definitely do that as well. In fact, we already have the ability to build from what we already have and move into that area. But I think one of our problems in Hawaii is we tend to sell ourselves too low. We don't realize our strengths, and therefore we don't build on them. So I'm really excited that Hawaii has adopted the seal of biliteracy and is encouraging our students to maintain and develop and build on multilingualism and multiliteracy.
Mahalo, that was very well said. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. In kind of closing, is there any kind of words of wisdom or anything you'd like to say to the seal of biliteracy class of 2020?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is congratulations to all the students who have earned the seal of biliteracy. It's not an easy thing to do in today's world where there's so many pressures to just conform to one language, one culture. You have succeeded in attaining this level of language proficiency, and the state of Hawaii recognizes that. And I'm really pleased. You're examples for others to follow, and keep up the good work. And I encourage you to raise your own children as multilingual children in the future when you have your own kids.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you again so much, Dr. Wilson, for joining us and sharing your words of wisdom. And hopefully it resonated with the students, and hopefully you will see some of the students part of your program practicing their skills and continuing to dedicate their studies to language learning. So thanks, everyone.